Day 29, Chapter 7, page 97. Blessings in a natural environment. We say again out of the cities, do not consider it great deprivation that you must go into the hills and mountains, but seek for that retirement where you can be alone with God to learn His will and way. I urge our people to make their life work to seek for spirituality. Christ is at the door. This is why I say to our people, do not consider it privation when you are called to leave the cities and move out into the country places. Here there await rich blessings for those who will grasp them. By beholding the scenes of nature, the works of the Creator, by studying God's handiwork, imperceptibly you will be changed into the same image. Character development is easier in the country. Parents flock with their families to the cities because they fancy it easier to obtain livelihood there than in the country. The children have nothing to do when not in school. Obtain a street education. From evil associates they will acquire habits of vice and dissipation. Send the children to schools located in the city, where every phase of temptation is waiting to attract them and demoralize them, and the work of character building is tenfold harder for both parents and children. The cities are filled with temptation. We should plan our work in such a way as to keep our young people as far as possible from this contamination. It is time for our people to take their families from the cities into more retired localities, else many of the youth and many also of those older in years will be ensnared and taken by the enemy. There is not one family in 100 who would be improved physically, mentally, or spiritually by residing in the city. Faith, hope, love, happiness can far better be gained in retired places where are fields and hills and trees. Take your children away from the sights and sounds of the city, away from the rattle and din of the streetcars and teams, and their minds will become more healthy. It will be found easier to bring home to their hearts the truth of the Word of God. Better physical health in rural environment. It is not God's will that His people should settle in the cities, where there is constant turmoil and confusion. Their children should be spared of this, for the whole system is demoralized by hurry and rush and noise. Too many of those living in the cities who have not a spot of green grass to set their feet upon, who year after year have looked out upon filthy courts and narrow alleys, brick walls and pavements, and skies clouded with dust and smoke, if these could be taken to some farming district surrounded with green fields, the woods, hills and brooks, the clear skies and fresh pure air of the country, it would seem almost like heaven. The physical surroundings in the cities are often a peril to the health. The constant liability to contact with disease, the prevalence of foul air, impure water, impure food, the crowded, dark, unhealthy dwellings are some of the many evils to be met. It was not God's purpose that people should be crowded into cities, huddled together in terraces and tenants. Raise your own provisions. The Lord desires His people to move into the country where they can settle on the land and raise their own fruit and vegetables, and where their children can be brought in direct contact with the works of God in nature. Take your families away from the cities is my message. Again and again the Lord has instructed that our people are to take their families away from the cities into the country, where they can raise their own provisions, for in the future the problem of buying and selling will be a very serious one. We should now begin to heed the instruction given us over and over again. Get out of the cities into rural districts where the houses are not crowded closely together and where you will be free from the interference of enemies. Locate institutions just out from the large cities. Let men of sound judgment be appointed, not to publish abroad their intentions, but to search for such properties in the rural districts, in easy access to the cities, suitable for small training schools for workers, and where facilities may be provided for treating the sick and weary souls who know not the truth. Look for such places just out from the large cities, where suitable buildings may be secured, either as a gift from owners or purchased at a reasonable price by the gifts of our people. Do not erect buildings in noisy cities.